to tell you a short story today. There once was a young girl who experienced emotional trauma in her life. This trauma was caused by the breakup of her parents. This young lady experienced emotional stress that was caused by the upheaval caused by divorce. The only hope that she had was that there was an older brother in her life who showed her a godly example of marriage. I'd like to speak to you today about divorce. Divorce in America is destroying God's design for nurturing a young child in our society. I have personally experienced the trauma of divorce, but also I have seen it through many lives over 20 years of ministry and Christian education. Divorce creates emotional, social, and also spiritual repercussions in the lives of today's youth. I will prove to you today that these problems cause effects that are long-term and accumulative in the life of a child. Let's take a closer look. The first myth I want to get rid of today is that there's no good divorce. Children often appear to be resilient, but mostly that is because the parents need them to be. Divorce causes emotional stress in the life of a child. This stress is caused by just the double world that they experience. Divorce also causes spiritual trauma in the life of a child. Many times these children begin to question God. It is also said that they become less religious than those of their peers who have parents that have stayed married and their parents have stayed intact. Also, divorce causes social trauma. Many times children of divorce are prone to repeat the same mistakes that their parents made. It is said that children of divorce, when they grow up as adults, they are twice as likely to be divorced themselves. Which brings me to my next point, that divorce causes issues that children are to deal with prematurely, that they're not yet ready or equipped to deal with. For instance, divorce creates a constant conflict in the life of the child. This conflict is not caused by them, it's a conflict caused by their children. However, they are choose between the two worlds that parents have created. Divorce also causes their security to be threatened. What once was a safe child nestled between two parents creates a child that is motivated by fear and instability. Also, divorce causes their foundations to be destroyed. What you once saw as a healthy, well-rounded child now becomes a child that is motivated by fear and also abandonment. Which brings me to my final point. We must value what God values. The Bible says that children are a heritage of the Lord. And as a Christian-based community, we must value what God values by first setting the precedence for marriage and family. If we're married, we must keep our godly principles. If you're single, you must choose and decide now that divorce was never an option for you. Next, we must change the cycle. Divorce has become such a norm in our society. The United States National Center of Health Studies reports that 1 million children every year will experience divorce. And lastly, we must create a shelter for these souls that are being put in a situation that they have no control over in our homes, in our schools, and in our churches. And also, we must create intervention groups that promote positive change for these children. In conclusion, we have seen that, again, divorce creates emotional, spiritual, and also social trauma. As Christians, we should do something to help. We should not continue to ignore this turmoil. Even as a young person, as it's been said, you must choose now that divorce is never an option in your life. Thank you. That's it.